All right. Welcome back to Bitcoin Trade. This episode here, let me just go over some timeline of what happened. Okay. So let's see if I can back up far enough. All right. So here's the chart on Mount Gox, and of course this was the announcement that all withdrawals, including Bitcoin, will be halted. So we got the massive sell-off, right? Well, the initial sell-off was here, took a bounce, and then dropped again, and bounced around, and then it stopped. So the selling kind of stopped here at around let me see here. What was the low right here? At around $630, and it was almost that time around. I think this was Monday, around the Monday time frame, or getting close to the Monday time frame. And so I think a lot of people were holding out on what's going on. And then the news came out because I saw the price just, and this is on an hourly. So I was on a 15 minute, and I was just watching it because I wanted, if I saw a price action move up or down, that something was drastic. And then I saw the price start crashing down like really hard, and I was wondering what is that? What's causing the push down? And as I was pushing down, I went to go search the news, and it turns out the announcement was made that apparently cash withdrawals, would be done as normal. It'll be done as normal right now. And so obviously someone heard that news, and then the sell-off started to begin. Not only did the sell-off occurred at Mt. Gox, but it also occurred over on Bitstamp. See right here? You see the sell-off occurred at Bitstamp. This is on 12-hour or 1 day, on a 1 day here. And then this one right here, wow, look at that. I've already showed you this, but man, look at that. But look where the price is. The price has gone back up. So if anybody at BitC had a buy order anywhere around here, you just instantly made money. So I'm looking at the price here, and like everything else, look at the price action of the different exchange, and that'll tell you a little story about it. All right, that should tell you some indication. Now, when I see this at BitC, man, I should have had some buy orders at BitC. Oh well, but look at this. Anybody who had buy orders right here, you just all made money instantly. If you bought one Bitcoin here, you just made 500-600 bucks. If you bought 10 Bitcoins here, you would have made 50,000. I think 50,000, right? Yeah, 50,000 at least. Um, Not bad, not bad. Or five? Is it 5,000? Maybe it's 5,000. You would have made 5,000, or I don't know. Anyways, um, in any case, this is pretty amazing right here. Look at that. And maybe some news-related stuff. I mean, Russia did ban the use of bitcoins, and I described this whole thing about this concept as can a financial instrument be used as a weapon? A weapon against governments, a weapon against nations, a financial weapon, basically. Can Bitcoin destabilize a nation as well as stabilize a nation? Do people have that kind of power? Because here's some things that are going on. Okay, I'll get back to the chart analysis, but let's take a look at what's going on around here. Well, let's just go over the quick news of, this is some of the older news here of Bitcoin. Well, I think you've already seen this. I think you've seen that one. I can get rid of that. I'm not going to deal with that yet. And this one here, more Bitcoin withdrawal stuff. Bitcoin threatening the web's favorite, the bug. Okay, the bug that everyone's talking about. That Mt. Gox is talking about here. And let's see what else they're talking about. Yeah, Bitcoin's withdrawal problems. Okay, so Mt. Gox is saying they're having Bitcoin bug problem with their software. Okay. Um, This is something I've been reading. Okay, so let's go on to the meat of the issue here of some news. Okay, Bitcoin exchange struggles. So this is another headline here, more recent, talks about the same things, and just more of the same. Nothing new, right? Nothing new. Actually, let's go to Mt. Gox directly, and I think I do have a statement here from them, official statement. It's probably what you've already read, so nothing new here. This is their official statement on all this, and basically it's what the articles already disclosed. So when did this come out? Let's see. Is there a time when this came out? No, no time when this came out. Excuse me. Okay, so there's a statement saying they're working on it. Apparently, your cash withdrawals, you can do that. It's your Bitcoin withdrawals. Okay, so interesting. Bitcoin withdrawals, huh? Oh yeah, here's the same thing here. Okay, so that's that right there, and then let me see here. Okay, so Bitcoin price plunges as technical problems persist. I don't know what chart they're using, but there it is. Okay, some more headlines, and now look at this headline: marijuana shops plan to accept Bitcoin goes up in smoke. So I guess this gentleman here of this marijuana shop in Washington was considering using Bitcoin as an alternative to having loads and loads of cash, which is kind of like a problem, right? And looks like he was using Coinbase, and then Coinbase found out what his business was, and they're like, whoa, there's some federal guidelines here that Coinbase could be in trouble for. So Bitcoins are is being targeted in this situation. I guess I can say that. And then there's Mr. Holder, Eric Holder, the Attorney General of America, the United States. Until 100% legal, banks to turn away marijuana money. There's another article right there. So here's another one: is will local bans undermine marijuana legalization in Washington? So a lot of things are happening here. It's getting crazy. Anyways, the story from what I read is that basically, and y'all can feel free to. This is under Forbes, and there's the author of this article here, and there's the title. And so apparently this guy does have a bank account, all right. And how they're gonna deal with it, I don't know. It's gonna have to be cash, like they said. Apparently he does have a bank account. I don't know if they can use the banks to make deposits or not. I don't know how the governments can address this unless they address it. Just not addressing the legitimacy of Bitcoin as a peer-to-peer payment is going to be interesting. This is going to be facing a lot of issues here, and what I think is the federal government, in my opinion. Okay, this is my opinion. I'm theorizing, speculating again. I'm giving just food for thought for people. Is if the federal government does not step in to clarify its stance on Bitcoin, especially Mr. Holder, and there's some other issues. I think eventually some regulations and laws are gonna have to come into effect or be created, because I don't know how you can stop this. There are now currently 80 some odd cryptocurrencies being created, and more will be created as you know, as regulation in countries and nation, you start seeing the where people where your government, what state, where do they stand on Bitcoin? Because Bitcoin's not just a payment method, okay? Like I said, it can be used like any other financial instrument. It can be used to for leverage, essentially leverage, in which you're voting. You are now a corporation. Okay, if a corporation is a person, then they can essentially donate an unlimited amount to a campaign contribution, um, just like any other corporation out there, because they're people, right? Well, just like that, a person, all right, a real person who has actual rights and everything, can actually, with their Bitcoin or their money, I mean, Bitcoin and money are one and the same. I mean, um, people are confusing Bitcoin and U.S. dollars or any fiat currency as if they're two separate things. Uh, Believe it or not, they're one and the same. Um, you know, where do you think, I've been telling people, where do you think the value of Bitcoin comes from? It comes from money. Like all legal tender, the value of whatever product or uh, the stored value device, whatever that device may be, you're just transferring the value of fiat currency into a payment method, which is Bitcoin. But Bitcoin in and of itself is also considered money. Okay? And so we're getting a few things here, and I don't think this is going to be settled through the states or or anything like that. I think at some point, and here's the interesting, we already got the U.S. Treasury Department already made its guidelines on on what a user is, who a miner is, who is subject under the money transmitter or money service business license. Okay. Now, although each state may regulate that part of it at a state level, the federal government already made its guidelines clear, and so you know a lot of things are going to happen. And just like I said, Bitcoin, you're going to see a map being drawn, and you got Washington over here. Let's just say Washington's, I'm imagining the United States of America. California's here, New York's over here, Texas over here, and wherever other, Chicago over here, Florida over here. So what I'm saying is, now you're seeing the lines being drawn in America. Okay, you got Washington State declaring Bitcoin as money. You have Florida that arrested two people, but in that arrest, they're claiming Bitcoin to be a payment instrument. Okay, so now you're getting two puzzles put together: money, payment instrument. And then you have the government come in and say users are not money transmitters or money service business. Okay, and if you follow the guidelines that they put out, and depending on what the circumstances and the facts are, okay, that's really important, because it's all about the circumstances and the facts, and which jurisdiction you're in as well. Okay, so this is getting very, very interesting, and as regulators come out with guidance and everything, they're realizing there's unintended consequences of their rulings. So they have to be really careful when they make new laws, because the new laws can initially be used to stem maybe Bitcoin to be regulated, but they may have, again, unintended consequences where other asset classes could be treated the same in that regard. And so you're going to see weird things going on. And also, remember, the software for Bitcoin is an open source. it could be changed at any time for anything. And so if it's not Bitcoin, it'll be another cryptocurrency. I'll tell you right now, as I'm talking to the mining pools, they're willing to jump at any time to another cryptocurrency. If Bitcoin's not the one, they're jumping on another cryptocurrency. So the network is in place no matter what. Matter of fact, they said the network is the backbone of any cryptocurrency. And again, it's hard to stop because if the miners aren't gonna mine for Bitcoin, they're gonna mine for something else. And it's gonna go somewhere. It's gonna be in some other cryptocurrency. Right now, the largest by dollar value is Bitcoin, and if that falls, you're gonna see many different type of currencies come out, and there's no way. I don't know how you can regulate all of them, or just if you just group them all together, because there's gonna be some cryptocurrencies that's gonna be very different, and it's not because people are trying to go around or try to do any illegal things. It's because of demand, pure and simple. There is a demand for cryptocurrencies. There is a demand to take back control of a financial instrument to both protect yourself from other financial weapons. Okay, so this concept is very similar to I would say gun ownership to some degree, the right to defend yourself against foreign and domestic enemies. Well, when things are financialized, you need a weapon to protect yourself from financial weapons, from financial terrorists, both domestic and foreign. And believe it or not, Bitcoin is that weapon. Believe it or not. So is it scaring everybody? I don't know. You tell me. I think it's scaring quite a bit of few people. So I don't know. I don't know what this person's gonna do. Then again, I don't know what the market is like for Bitcoin in Washington. So far, this guy says he's only received pretty much less than a Bitcoin, if anything. So don't know. I mean, the point is that I guess it's gonna have to be done in cash, and I don't know if Bitcoins can be used in this situation or not. I addressed that question. It was just a theoretical question. How far someone wants to push it, I don't know. I mean, it depends. The legal ramifications of what's going on with Bitcoin is changing every day, literally, week by week. Something new is going on, and it's changing the world upside down. I can't believe something as worthless as a Bitcoin can cause so much uncertainty with the governments around the world and financial institutions. They talk about the banks won't even bank with this guy. Well, obviously he does have a bank account, but I don't know, if they will accept money from this business operation. And so the banks are, they're all scared. They're scared of being shut down too. So does anybody feel like they're being policed? Does anybody seeing something going on here? The control of money, of U.S. currency, which is an instrument of debt. Fiat currencies are an instrument of debt, and basically that is, in my opinion, slavery. All right, it's slavery. So they're forcing people to use an instrument of debt to create more debt, to create more slavery. I'm asking, are you in a police state? Are you being controlled? through an instrument of a financial device, through a financial instrument called the U.S. dollar or fiat currency? I'm just asking, you know, and it's actually for you to decide. So let's have a look at another one. Whether this is an issue of right or wrong is not the question at hand, I would say. The question is, the states have legalized, the people have legalized in that state. Is it the right of the state or the right of the federal government? And that's what's at issue. And I'm going to address something. I'm going to point to a larger concept on this a little bit later. But let's take a look at some of the other headlines. I kind of spent a lot of time on that. And then here's another headline that says Bitcoin developer. Yes, there's a flaw in Bitcoin, but it shouldn't have brought down Mt. Gox. So I've heard the same thing. Basically, I think I read a report where if a large enough mining pool is processing a certain percentage of the Bitcoins, it could be possible. I've heard that it could be manipulated so much as I know. But I know how to use computer, but I'm not like a nerd. Okay, but I've heard about this, and I've also heard that it can be addressed as to simply diversifying the mining pool. And since they're self-governing themselves, the mining pools and the miners and everything, they've basically addressed this problem by not being turning down miners from their mining pool, so they won't have more than 50% of the mining pools or the mining processing. So I've heard. I don't know if that's if I'm making. I'm not sure about it, but that's what I've heard. I'm not an expert in that. But here's an article that says, well, it really shouldn't affect anybody. And I agree. I mean, it's going across all like all of with these guys. Look at this. Look at the price action on this. Price action on that. Okay, and then here's Mt. Gox. So look at this. Let's go on the day. So there. So, it affect everybody. It kind of hit harder with Mt. Gox because everybody's trying to get out with their money. But I've always told people, if you're in this for the U.S. dollar, you should definitely get out because this is you're going to be on the wrong side of the trade if you're on the U.S. dollar or if you're on fiat currency when it comes to Bitcoin. So there you go. There's the price, and it's still there. I would have thought they would have gone down to zero by now. Which actually Bitsy almost damn near did. Look at that. Damn near did went to zero. Geez. That's amazing. Alright, let's see what other headlines are right here. So we went over this headline, and then this headline. Okay. So I think we addressed most of the headlines, and let's go for the moving average charts here. This is simply a 2-day 15-minute here, and so it looks like the sell-off is over. It's just a matter of waiting now. So this is a 5-day 1 hour, I believe. So 5-day 1 hour. All right. And then let's go for a 10-day 2 hour. Okay. So I think last time I mentioned that might have been some hope right here, but nope. The hope was not a hope at all, but it bounced back down and it's coming back up here. So we'll see where it is. And for me, like I said, I'm in it for the Bitcoins. Man, these are really great prices. I still have funds in my Mt. Gox account. I didn't go all crazy, So I'm still trading here, and I've I've made some gains, ironically, in this downtrend. I've made some gains, as far as Bitcoins anyway. Dollar value, yes, I made gains in US dollar value too, but mostly I'm looking for Bitcoins for my money. So so there's I'm I don't know about you other guys, but I'm enjoying the trade here at Mt. Gox because it's so much cheaper in comparison to the other indices. So let's take a quick look at the other indices, how they're doing. Now they've somewhat stabilized, and let's just go to 5-day now. This is Bitstamp, 5-day. Okay, they pretty much stabilized. All right, so Bitstamp stabilized, and then let's go 10-day, 2-hour. And yeah, it's still a slow downtrend, but stabilized. And I think after everything's said and done, we're gonna see what happens. Many times, Bitcoin has been under attack. Many times. You know, I'll just start off with Silk Road, the closure of Silk Road. You've seen the crash of that. It came back even stronger. Okay, now Silk Road was closed down. What's the deal? Why was the value of Bitcoin going up so high? You know, and then the Chinese ban. Okay, it came back again. Now we're talking about Russia ban, and on top of that, this whole issue on whether Bitcoins are being sent, but not counted for, which is kind of weird, but hey, whatever works. Um, so let's see here. Let's do the Bitsy, and Bitsy is, that's what Bitsy looks like. Kind of weird. Let's do a 5-day, see what Bitsy looks like. Yeah, even more weirder. How about a 10-day? I can't even read Bitsy right now. It's so weird. Mainly because of this big spike down. Excuse me. Big spike downwards here, and again, if you look at overall, it's not that bad, Yes, it's gone down, but that spike, the spike makes this thing look so small, doesn't it? Anyways, and then finally, let's take a look at this, and yes, it's all red. It's all red. But, oh, excuse me, I'll be right back. Hold on. Okay, sorry about that. I had to feed the baby here. So, anyways, what I was trying to say was, excuse me, is Bitcoin a financial weapon? I've been, if you see my previous episodes, I talked about, is there a currency war going on? And I showed you the map. And if you notice, who's permissive with Bitcoin and who's not permissive with Bitcoin, and you look at that map, and does that map look familiar? Does anybody know what I'm talking about? And then on top of that, if you look in within America, what Bitcoin means to America, okay? There's a strong correlation, in my opinion, that state rights, all right, and federal regulation, when it comes to Bitcoin, you're going to start seeing sides being taken place within America, okay? And is there a currency war within America? To some degree, yes, there is, because all the states are tied to the US dollar, all right? They're all tied, and they're all, in some ways, enslaved through that process, all right? Even the states are enslaved through fiat currency, and that's why the banks won't bank with you, all right? That's why the banks are afraid, all right? Because if they do something, they could lose their banking license, I believe, or maybe have some ramifications. And on top of that, someone who's trading in Bitcoin, it's very powerful. And some of the things that I've talked about here, um, these are just simple ideas, but they're very powerful ideas. This concept of a financialized instrument is very powerful. Um, in many ways, this financial instrument is used to I would say use against other nations as well. Like America would use some kind of financial instrument against another nation to control it, to manipulate it. And I don't have a problem with that really, because it's just a game for the most part. Well, not a game, but it's in the interest, um, I guess, of America to do so. All right. I mean, there's some things that are always done in a way that I guess I would say it's in the interest, but there's unfortunately, there's unintended consequences with these financial instruments, and I think you're going to see that Bitcoin's going to reveal a lot of those unintended consequences. And probably another reason why Bitcoin is so attractive to many people, um, especially for the ones who understand what Bitcoin is and how it works. What is it? What is Bitcoin to you? Is it freedom? Is it a weapon? Is it a way to engage in an illicit criminal activity? Is it a payment system? I mean, is it a vote? Um, it's so um, it's so powerful, in my opinion, that it's literally scaring everybody. Really scaring everybody. So, anyways, that's just my opinion, though. It's up to everybody else to decide what it is. And so, there it is. Bitcoin is definitely under attack, especially under Mt. Gox. And this is Bitstamp. So it looks like Bitstamp's kind of holding, which is good. And then BitC. So we'll see what happens here when the dust settles and everything. I don't know if everything will be back to normal, because we're seeing Bitcoin become acknowledged, and at the same time, we're seeing Bitcoin users come under attack. And so I hope some of you guys are watching my episodes and having a better understanding of if you have any Bitcoins, you have a better understanding of what it is that you have. I'm just gonna go to Mt. Gox one day so you can. Let's go on here. So there you go. And so you see the whole thing. So try to understand what you have, what you're possessing here. It's I wouldn't take Bitcoin too lightly. If anybody out there has Bitcoin, they think it's just a nice little novelty coin. What you have in your hands is very, very powerful, if in for the person who truly understands what Bitcoin is. In my opinion, okay, just my opinion. So again, my videos are nothing more than a documentary of the way of my experience with Bitcoin. That's all it is. And as it unfolds, I'm literally documenting as it unfolds. So, and if anybody out there wants to continue to watch, please do so. And I hope this is interesting and very helpful. If not, it's a really good story, isn't it? Anyways, thanks for watching. Stay tuned for the next episode. Until then, oh yeah, feel free to comment, like, dislike. If you put a comment, I'll definitely respond in a video. Otherwise, Bye now.